Hello, friends. Are you interested in learning about one of the toughest privacy regulations in the world? Welcome to GDPR. Today, we will look at GDPR in detail. We will cover what is GDPR, who does it protect, what is its territorial reach, what are the key terminologies of GDPR, what are the 8 rights of data subjects, and how consent must be obtained by data controllers and data processors. So let's get started. Number one, what is GDPR? GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. GDPR protects the fundamental right of privacy of individuals by regulating the collection, processing, and storage of their personal data. What GDPR did was to unify and replace the various data protection rules that existed across Europe since the 1990s. It came into effect on 25th of May 2018. Who does it protect? GDPR protects the data of all EU citizens and EU residents. EU stands for European Union. What is the territorial scope of GDPR? Now, territorial scope is the judicial reach of a law or the area where the law will be effective. GDPR applies to all companies and organizations which provides goods and services in the EU or processes the personal data of EU citizens or residents, irrespective of whether those companies are based out of Europe or not. This is known as the extraterritorial effect of GDPR. And so, if your business does not operate in Europe, GDPR won't apply to you. Friends, beyond this comes some of the very important terminologies which will help us in getting a more clearer and comprehensive understanding of GDPR. So let's understand these terminologies with ease and clarity. Number one, data subject. It refers to any person whose data is being processed. So any person who uses the internet becomes a data subject because by default they will produce some data. They will do some surfing on the internet, some search or shopping, whatever. It will result in the production of some data and hence they become data subjects. Second, personal data. Personal data is any information which can help to directly or indirectly identify an individual through it. For example, somebody's name, email address, location, biometric data, gender, religious belief, web cookies, etc. Now friends, most of these identifiers are self-explanatory in nature, but web cookies I would like to dwell on a little bit more. All cookies have a cookie ID, that is an identifier inbuilt in them when they are set on a user's browser. So every cookie will have a unique ID, and this unique ID will allow the website to remember the individual user and their preferences when they will visit the website again. This is of immense convenience for the users, but it is considered a personal data. Along with that, there are 2 types of data that GDPR talks about: pseudonymous data and anonymous data. Now, pseudonymous data is the data which is considered personal data, whereas anonymous data is not. Now, let's understand what is a pseudonym. Pseudonym is a fictitious name. So, pseudonymization of data is a process through which personally identifiable information of any person is replaced with artificial identifiers or an artificial name. So, pseudonymization of data is where the data has been de-identified from the data subject and can only be identified with the data subject with the help of additional information. For example, identifying a customer by using client number and keeping their other personal information separately. Because if that additional information is joined along with the client number, then it will be easy to identify this person. So this is done to ensure added security for the data subject, but it is still considered as personal data. But anonymization of data is where the data has been changed in such a way that an identification of the individual is impossible. So here the data is totally cleaned of any information that might serve as a potential identifier of the data subject, and hence it is not considered a personal data. So, to summarize, pseudonymization of data doesn't remove all personal identifiers, but through encryption reduces the linkability of data with the data subject, and hence it is considered personal data. Whereas anonymization of data means the data has been changed in such a way that there is no way that it can be identified to an individual, and hence it is not considered as personal data. The third term, data processing. Any action that is performed on data is known as data processing. For example, collecting data, recording, organizing, storing, erasing data, etc. Number 4, data controller. The person who decides how and why the data will be processed is known as a data controller. Normally, this person is an employee of the organization who is responsible for overall handling of the data. Number 5, data processor. Many data controllers don't directly process the data by themselves. The data is processed by third party who is responsible for processing the data on behalf of the data controller. Now, GDPR provides special provisions and rules for such organizations or individuals. This includes cloud servers like Tresorit and also email service providers like Gmail, Proton Mail, Yahoo Mail, etc. Now, friends, let's jump on to data subject rights. Now, GDPR provides 8 exclusive rights to data subjects as regards their personal data. Now, these rights are at the core of GDPR and have to be protected and ensured by all the service providers. These rights are: number 1, the right to be informed. This means providing the data subjects or customers with a clear information about what data will be collected, how will be used and stored, etc. Number 2, data subjects have a right to access their data. Number 3, the right to rectification or change in their data. So the data subjects have the right to request for a change or correction in their data. Number 4, the right to erasure of their data. The data subjects have the right to request an erasure or deletion of their data. Number 5, the right to restrict processing of their data. Number 6, the right to data portability. Now this means to easily access and transfer or move their data from one IT environment to the other. Number 7, the right to object. Now the right to object is a right whereby the data subject can object any organization from processing their personal data at any time. And number 8, rights in relation to automated decision making and profiling. Now here the data subject can object or raise an objection that his or her data should not be subject to automated processing. Now friends, let's look at the last topic of the day, data subject's consent. Now friends, GDPR strictly provides that whenever any service provider collects any data from the data subject, a data subject's consent is paramount. They cannot even collect the data without their consent. Now, there are very strict rules as to what constitutes a consent from a data subject, and that is stated in sufficient detail under Article 7. So, the consent must be specific, informed, unambiguous, and most importantly, freely given. Request for consent must be clearly distinguishable from other matters and should be presented in a clear and plain language. Data subjects can withdraw previously given consent whenever they want, and that decision has to be honored. Children under 13 can only give consent with the permission of their parent. And a documentary proof of evidence of consent must be maintained at all times. So friends, I hope this video gave you a nice overview about GDPR, just the very basics of it. What is it? What is its scope? What are some of the key terminologies which would be helpful to understand the regulation, the rights of data subjects, and how the consent from a data subject should be obtained. So friends, I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have a great day.